whirling wheel has stopped, so that means my rendering has been completed. And so I'm going to go into view completed renderings, and when you do, that's going to log you into AutoCAD 360, and you're going to go to this web page which contains all your renderings. There's some additional renderings, and here's my illumination renderings that I did for this particular project, right? And then there's a number of things that you can do from here. Most of it's pretty, you can figure it out. You can download the image, delete the image. And so what I've done is downloaded the image off of there. The image is going to look something like this. Let's go through this just for a second and see what we have. If you remember, I put in a topography right here. That's a number of foot candles, 9,000, the illumination of that surface. And then you'll see from that then everything is graded back. And I think this is really good to have a topo surface outside that you can get the horizontal radiation. And then you'll see right here different parts. This right here is that core area that was in the building. I guess I could bring up a floor plan real quick. So there's this core, and then there's this open office area. And so if we look, we'll see the core right here. And of course, this is south on this side, and this is north. You'll see the gradation. As we move towards yellow, most of the radiation in here is at like a 409 level and lower. You'll see little greens, spots of greens. There's a piece of furniture right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video. But if you look real close, you can kind of see the top of that desk and then the shadow being cast by that desk. You'll also see some light here and here. That's once again because I didn't close the stairwell, so I'm getting light down the stairwell and the elevator shaft right here, as well as light being cast through the opening into that elevator shaft. But you can see the windows facing the north, bank of windows facing the north side, and of course this is the slatted screen on the east side, I guess, and then the mesh screen on the south, and then there's some windows here on the west side that we're getting radiation. Remember that the sun is due south, March 21st. Illumination will get better than this because we're in the spring equinox, so there'll be more sunlight during the summer. Of course, there'll be also less sunlight during the winter, but it will be much lower. I would want to run for an analysis illumination renderings at each one of those dates and analyze them to make sure that I was getting enough light throughout the whole room. So I'm going to crop out the legend right here. You definitely need the legend with this, but I want to rotate this. So if I rotate it, then the legend is going to be, horizontal instead of vertical. And so I just took it into Photoshop, cropped the legend out, and then kept the legend, and that way I'll put them into the view. So that's what I'm going to do next, is set that illumination rendering into a view. If we go to my sheets down here, so here is my sheet, and I'm just going to place that illumination rendering in the sheet. And to do this, I'm going to go into insert here and then go to image, insert an image, and then just go find that image, and currently I have it on the desktop. That's the legend, and there's the plans. I'm going to open that. And then I'm going to place it on the view, and of course it technically doesn't really have a scale. I can resize it, make it smaller or whatever. The only bad thing about this is because it doesn't have any walls, it's kind of hard to associate this with the features of the building as it is right here. Of course, the first thing I probably need to do is rotate it in the direction of north and south, and of course that's just a simple rotation. And so this is south, and now this is north. And what I'm going to do is show you how to do an overlay with a floor plan so that we can get more detail. Let's set up a plan view for this and overlay the actual lines of the plan view with the image. The first thing I'm going to do is create another second floor plan view. So I'm going to do a duplicate view, and then I'm going to rename this and call it a second floor illumination plan. And then I'm going to get rid of some things that I don't want. I'm going to of course hide and view by categories those tags, because I really don't need any of that stuff. And then I would just hide anything else that I might need. View to true north, which it is already set to true north, therefore it'll be in the orientation of my illumination rendering. And then the next thing I'm going to do is set the display depths here. So I'm going to go in here, but in view range, I'm going to, since I set the rendering camera at 4 feet, I'm going to leave that at 4 feet, 8 feet here, about 3 feet. And then the level depth, I'm going to bring up to 1 foot here. Yeah, because I want to keep that mesh. So there's my mesh. There's my slatted walls and my windows. The other thing is that it doesn't crop out the floor surfaces in view by category, the floors. Bring in the image this time into this view. So I'm going to go image, plan view, open. And you'll see my image right here. And so I'm just going to insert it right now. And then of course I want to rotate it so that it's the same view. So I'll rotate it 90 degrees. So now it's the same angle. And because I deleted the floor or hid the floor and everything, it's coming through. I'm seeing it because all these walls are the only thing that's really seeing it, and the furniture. So you can see that the furniture, the stairs of course are overlapping it, but that's fine. The next thing I'm going to do is just scale it by eye and move it around. So I'm going to move this. I'm using the arrow keys to nudge it, which is just to move it a few increments. So I'm going to nudge it there, and then this needs to be scaled up just a hair. Boy, that's close. And then the next thing I'm going to do is come in, poche all the walls so that I can see them. So I'm going to set this setting to probably medium and edit graphics, override the cut pattern as we did when we were making design floor plans. So I'm going to make that black, and then the pattern is going to be solid. It gives me kind of black walls, and you can see now this is much more legible, and now I can put this into my sheet. So let's WT this, and I can drag over my view. So into there, and of course right now it's set to a pretty high scale, so let's not do that. Let's go back into the illumination plan, and and reset the plan to say 16. And the nice thing about it, it's going to scale both my image and my floor plan. So now let's go back in here, and we'll go back into the plan, and we'll just drag it over. And now I have an illumination plan scaled at 1/16 inch. I don't need this one anymore. And of course I can either choose to keep this title or hide it. But I'll choose to keep it right now. And also I need the legend. So let's go into Insert, Image, Legend. And once again, and then of course I can bring this over here and set it up as a scale. And now I have a scaled illumination plan. So much easier to read now with spaces kind of identified. And of course I could have text turned on so that I knew what portions of the, I could do all kinds of annotation to it. That's the end of the illumination rendering videos.